When should you take the GMAT? I'm Erika with Target Test Prep, and today I'm going to give you the tools to land on the right GMAT test date for you. First, let's talk about when you can take the test. GMAT scores are valid for 5 years. This means that your test date should be at most 5 years before your last application deadline. 5 years seems like a long time, but you'd be surprised at how often this maximum time limit creeps up on people who push back their application year again and again to pursue personal or professional goals and end up needing to retake. What's much more common, though, is getting into trouble with the minimum time limit. While GMAT scores are usually reportable within 5 business days and often within 24 hours, in some cases it can take up to 20 business days. This means that your test date should be at least 4 weeks out from your first application deadline. Now, just because you can schedule your test anytime in this near 5-year span doesn't mean that you should. In fact, the ideal timeline for most test takers to schedule their exam is 3 to 6 months before their first application deadline. There are 2 reasons for this. First, it gives time for a retake. GMAT data shows that repeat test taking yields on average a 20 to 30 point score increase. That constitutes a jump of up to 15 percentile points. That's nothing to sniff at. Now, while you can technically retake the GMAT every 16 days, I don't generally recommend this. There's just not enough time between attempts to address what went wrong the first time. By scheduling your first exam 3 to 6 months out from when you need a score, you give yourself at least 2 months to prepare for your retake, which is sufficient time to target at least a few key areas of improvement from your previous sitting. Retakes can also look good on an application, so long as they're paired with a score increase. They show dedication, resilience, and an ability to improve, all things that are viewed positively by admissions committees. With that said, too many retakes or retakes without improvement show poor judgment and a limited capacity to perform well. You select which GMAT scores you send to schools, so if you do retake, choose wisely. Ensure the scores admissions officers see tell the story you want to tell. But not only does scheduling 3 to 6 months out give time for a retake, just as importantly, it also gives time to focus on other elements of your application. Many students hyper-focus on their test to their detriment, pushing out their test date to the last possible minute to maximize their study time, or retaking right up to their deadline to eke out a few extra points. But this comes at the expense of the rest of their applicant profile. Personal statements and other essays in particular are hard work and benefit from a structured multi-week approach involving brainstorming, outlining, drafting, and multiple rounds of feedback from peers and mentors with subsequent editing passes. Additionally, resumes are weighted roughly equally to test scores in admissions decisions, so it's well worth your time to ensure yours is optimized specifically for an admissions committee. The last few months before your deadlines are an excellent time to shift your attention to these other application elements, and having your test out of the way facilitates a more intensive focus. But this applies in the other direction as well. By testing at most 6 months before your deadlines, you help ensure you don't end up in this drawn-out year or multi-year long test prep process. I've seen applicants become so consumed with their test that their real goal, getting admitted to and attending a program, gets completely lost. Remember, test score is just one piece of the full application picture. Invest in each piece of your application commensurate with its importance. Now, when exactly in this range you schedule your test date depends on you. The primary driver should be giving yourself enough prep time to achieve your goal score. I go into more detail on both how to set a goal score and how long it should take you to reach it in my What is a Good Score in 2026 video, so I recommend checking that out for guidance on developing an individualized study timeline. But it's also worth thinking about how the test fits into your life. You ideally want to sit for your exam during a period of relative low stress, as well as after several months in which you were able to consistently carve out prep time. So you may want to schedule around travel, a big project at work, or other major commitments. Finally, if you find that your goal score or current life commitments are not compatible with a test date 3 to 6 months out from your first application deadline, consider how rigid your admissions timeline actually is. You may want to push back applying to another round or even another year to avoid a subpar score or a rushed application. Business school is a huge commitment. Give your application, including your test, the time it deserves. Hopefully this video has given you the confidence to schedule your test date. Subscribe for more advice from me and the other experts here at Target Test Prep, and I'll see you in the next one.